my God.
That's not enough. You have to create, and it has to be better than what you were disrupting. That's a lot to do with an optimistic attitude after what we've been through. So, get ready.
I don't believe it. You want to have sex with him? What? Use the ouchless. We have bungee cords.
I'm frightened. Humans get frightened because they have feelings. Didn't your alien leaders teach you that before they sent you here?
I suppose you'll use this drama as a reason to have another affair. I feel sorry for the next delivery man that comes to this house.
You know, this has a completely different take on it, thinking that the alien leaders taught us how to love and how to heal and how to be human is kind of funny looking backwards to me. I identify as alien at this point because, you know, Occam's razor and all. So yeah, I love this movie. And I love the idea of non-traditional therapy, and you'll see another clip some other time. This is Dennis Leary really is the star of this movie. It's called The Ref. He hijacks this Connecticut couple, and I have a deep, sordid history with Connecticut. I believe it is. What he quotes is the fifth ring of hell. I think it's like worst parts of all the New England states, and then it's adjacent to New York. You're not, because it's an hour and a half ride. And I just remember the train ride home after being drunk, and you're like kind of like crouching down as the doors open at 125th Ave. It's much better now. I'm sure that it costs millions to live in that. Is it Harlem? I don't even know. I'm not. What was I called? A wasp? Anyway, all right. So, I love this scene. Okay. Which one do you identify as? The angry one? The one that cheated? Or are you the delivery person coming for a booty call? Some of us have been in each situation. But really, when I think about this, I think about how the secret of it is the real sin. It's the emotional abuse of the other person not knowing. You don't know what you don't know. And that, to me, is what's in cheating in relationships is the worst thing. Plus, there's all this, you don't get everything from one person situation going on. And I'm not talking about polyamorous relationships or that sort of trajectory. The emotional bond when you're hitched with somebody is more important than the sex. And you have to be honest, but you also, there's these moments where it comes out, and it takes like the fear of the environment sometimes to get, you know, resolution. In this situation, you can see they're tied up. They are literally tied up and being held hostage in their own house by Dennis Leary, who I love. What better way to go to treatment than having a therapist tie you up, force you to reconcile? He has a gun, so like you're staying till the end until it's fixed. And of course, you can tell what the ending is, right? But I do recommend watching The Ref. It's a Christmas movie too, so that is the tradition for me. It's The Ref and Christmas Vacation, which I can wildly quote. Where's the Tylenol, right? Unconventional trans. Where'd that channel come from? Is this where we're going? Woo! Not going there. Nope, you cannot make me. All right. This one. Damn it. You know, my heart goes out to everyone. Everybody deserves happiness. I feel sometimes that we project what we think will make us happy, and it's just a big leap for me to understand sexuality from somebody that believes they're in the wrong skin, that may or may not also be attracted to the same gender that they may or may not be in the future. It's like quantum sexuality. And it blows up my mind. And I don't it's not out of respect that I don't, I take it seriously. I can tell you that the first trans person I ever met had fled where they lived to another country to become female. Okay? Her story was heart-wrenching. Heart-wrenching. But the idea that somebody that's not yet mature can go through that is too much. You can't go having surgery until you're sure. And I support everything that you do to figure it out. Absolutely. But it's being used politically, and that needs to stop. And the trans people of, a generation ago would tell you that if you sought them out. And I encourage that. You do not need to be getting advice from somebody that hasn't walked your walk. So before you make yourself confused even further, because it's hard, find somebody that doesn't have an agenda. And you know what I mean. Find somebody that doesn't have an agenda, that's been where you are. Back in the olden days, we would go online for this, but you can't anymore. It is so polluted with, I don't even know what it is, what to say about it. But when you found a support group for your category back in the day, they were legitimate people. They were legitimate people. And I talked to some, not trans, maybe one or two, but I talked to some that, were gay before Will and Grace, and we stuck together for decades. Decades. The most important support group, when you don't have anyone around you that looks like you, feels like you, acts like you, used to be you could find them online. If I put it into the things that we use today, I think it's really hard to find those connections that aren't about one-way communication in some cases, which is not what the internet was about for me growing up. It was very important in my journey to have that available to me. And I hope that those of you that are struggling to find the community that can help you figure it out, that you're finding them somehow. I don't know how you're doing it, because I just see chaos. We lost the genuine nature of it to a bunch of other things. Everything that you see with AI now, where it's like you're questioning, is that an avatar, or are they really having an experience? So back in my day, it does help to say it with a southern accent, this trans woman I met in Germany, and she had fled from North Carolina. And she had moved there in the 60s, I think. Fled. Persecution, okay? Not, oh, you're not calling me by my pronoun that I like. I mean persecution. So she went to another country that was more tolerant. It takes a little oppression for tolerance. It's very weird, and it's a horrific past. But Berlin, Germany, it takes a lot for tolerance to be interrupted there. And it's not a bad thing. When we have put people against each other in the US, and I mean groups where of people that just kind of dare to say everything negative about it that they can to make it not possible, that is very much something that has been created. But let me tell you, this trans person that I met that fled North Carolina in the 60s to have a sex change in Germany and live in peace and be happy there, I don't think she'd be marching with you at the parade. I don't think she'd be the one saying, oh, that flag doesn't represent me. I'm just knowing her and what her story was. I did not think I was going here. It is the message that the haters need to hear, is that the message that they're getting is the wrong one. It's not the one of love and acceptance that they need to hear. It's not the one of how difficult it is and how hard it is to find others to just figure it out. Because you're constantly kind of hiding and looking behind you. And before I came out here to shoot this, I had watched a lesbian talking about how one of the organizations is saying, yeah, that's not even a thing anymore. They don't need protection, or that was the theme of it. Okay. And that is progress, and like the opposite as well. The idea to me, maybe a generation or two, and we're already at the point where we're saying, yeah, that protected class is kind of okay now, is amazing to me. And we have been out of balance in feminine and masculine energy for as long as I've been alive. Women are in charge of the world, of companies, of organizations. When that comes into balance, how much of this still is there at the same level and the same angst and the same hurt and the same pain? How much of it is there? Or is it better? Is it less? Is it less painful for somebody going through this? Had it balanced 10 years ago, women still don't get paid the same amount, right? So even if they take the job, they're still at a disadvantage. We have all this garbage that has been put on us from history. You can find somebody that probably is on the edge of remembering when women were not able to vote, which I can't imagine. But that wasn't that long ago. That was not that long ago. But we have to balance things. And that should be our priority, is balancing masculine and feminine, and then letting things adjust. Because women will bring the right perspective and inclusion to the table that men bypass. And not to point out a group, but, we'll throw sexuality in there since it's all garbled in this message anyway. Straight men will overlook. It goes all the way back to the fraternities. It goes all the way back to the, shame of being gay. And I'm happy to say that many don't know this anymore. But the people one generation older than me lived in shame. Shame. Imagine you can't even say it out loud who you're living with because of the shame of society, because of the way you were brought up, because of discrimination. We have come a long way. We need balance. The universe seeks balance. We are out of balance in every area, and we have a lot to do. So when somebody comes at me, and they have, why don't you support the trans agenda? I support you. I support you and your journey and whatever you end up deciding or believe to be true, and if you follow through on that, or if you stick your foot in and realize, hey, no, I've worked through it, I've talked through it, it's just I'm me, and I don't need a label, because that's what some of this is. It's labels, and we don't need them. And it's odd to me that we fixed it by our complexity with the gendering. That's not the way to fix it. So I support you and your journey. But it's not for teenagers. No, that was too confusing, and it hasn't gotten any less confusing as far as I'm concerned. I'm happy to say that I have a friend whose son kissed another boy on the bus, and they got a call from, the school saying, it's not a problem, but we just wanted you to know. That is progress like you wouldn't believe. That is progress like you wouldn't believe. There are a lot of organizations I would support before I would pick up one of these activist ones, and ones that are about love and support and suicide prevention, because going through this is not easy. It is not easy. I will validate that you have the right to say how you want to be, but you need to be supported by the right people to get to that decision, and you need to be at an age out of high school. You are not going to likely get the support from your family. It's going to be from somewhere else. And so unless you're emancipated, I think you're waiting till you're 18, and that's just the way it is. We all dealt with it. We all dealt with it. Buckle up, Buttercup. I'm going to stop for now. I don't know how I got sent this, but it did need to come out.
Calzone!